Hi, welcome along to AFTV Transfer Daily, the show that takes a look at players that have been linked with a summer transfer move to Arsenal. Very news today, looking through the media outlets, and the one that really caught my eye was this story about Arsenal making a bid for Thomas Muller and Robert Lewandowski from Bayern Munich. Now, the story goes that and it's been reported by an outlet called El Confidencial, who are based in Spain. The story goes that Arsenal approached Bayern Munich earlier on in the transfer window and offered them £50 million for either of these players. They said, listen, we'll take either Muller or we'll take even Lewandowski. Arsenal heard a little rumour that the manager Pep Guardiola might get rid of one of them because of the system that he played. He felt that, maybe one of them could go. And Arsenal went in there, said that they'll pay 50 million for either of these two players, but both bids were rejected by Bayern Munich, and Bayern Munich said, no, we're going to keep hold of these two players. We're not selling them, particularly Muller, not for sale. And that is when Arsenal apparently then turned their attentions to Karim Benzema. So that's a really interesting story, if true, because what that shows me is that Arsenal are willing to go big for that real top quality player that they want to bring in. And Arsene Wenger's been saying it right throughout the window that, they don't really feel they need much, but if there's a real top quality player out there available, they will, or as he says, we will do it, right? They haven't been able to do it so far. And as I've been saying all along, it is really hard to get these sort of players, but it pleases me that we are trying to move in to get these type of players. It's very unfortunately that some of these players are with massive clubs that are just not willing to sell them. Is that the case also with Karim Benzema? I mean, still no news really, positive news on the Benzema saga. Although reading some of the outlets yesterday, it was completely negative. Benzema not going nowhere. Benzema definitely staying. Then today now, glimmer of hopes again. Reading reports in some of the media outlets today that the president of Real Madrid, he's the one that matters, by the way. He just needs on Arsene Wenger's got to say, or Ivan Gazidis or Dick Law. Forget about even what Karim Benzema's got to say. If Florentino Perez turns around, the president of Real Madrid, and he says, you know what, I'll take the money, you'll start going, just like what happened to Ozil. And the rumour is today that he'd be willing to sell Benzema if Arsenal paid up to a whopping £50 million. And also yesterday, the ex-footballer Rodney Marsh, very controversial at times, he came out and he said that he believes that a bid has been accepted by Real Madrid for Benzema. That goes against what a lot of other people like Gideon Mller have been saying. But who knows? Who knows? As I said, I'd like to believe the rumour that Florentino Perez is saying, you know what, I'll take the money, because that would be great news if that was true. Then also we got to think to ourselves, would Arsenal pay that sort of money? Listen, when you really think about it, to get a deal like Benzema over the line, if at all possible, as I said, if he wants to go, if they want to sell him. But say they do want to sell him and they're saying, right, you know what, pay us the stupid money of 50 million and we'll sell him. We may have to do that. You can't always just say, oh, okay, no, it's not worth it. It's a bit too expensive. If you really want the player, you're going to have to pay more than what he's worth. That's what Manchester City had to do with Raheem Sterling. Raheem Sterling's not worth 49.7 million pounds. He's probably worth about, I'd say, probably about 35 million pounds, because he's only 20 years of age. But City had to pay that to get it over the line. De Bruyne is not worth 50 million pounds, almost double what, Chelsea sold him to Wolfsburg for. But if you're going to, City want to get this hot prospect over the line, they're going to have to probably pay towards £50 million. So if Arsenal want to get a deal like Benzema done, they're going to have to accept the fact that we're going to have to pay extra to get him. And this is what when we talk about being aggressive, sometimes that is included when I say being aggressive. You've got to pay extra. It's just how it is. It's the market. You know what I mean? You see that house down the road, you really want to buy that house. The person who's selling the house is being really stubborn, but you're in love with that house. You know the house is worth 250 grand, but yeah, that's not in London, by the way, right? But the owner of the house says to you, listen, I'll give it to you, but I want 270. You want it? You got to pay it. And that's what Arsenal are going to have to do if, say, Florentino Perez is willing to sell. What about Edinson Cavani? We're still reading in a lot of outlets today that he is the person that they're going to turn to, Arsenal, if they're unable to secure the signature of Karim Benzema. Yet again, the story is going around that he's not very happy at PSG, that he doesn't get on at all, we're being told, with the manager, Laurent Blanc. Doesn't like the way he's been moved all over the pitch, and would be willing to move. If he became available, I would have thought there'd be Manchester United would be in for him as well. They definitely need a striker. I was watching them last night, and whilst Depay scored 2 great goals for United, they definitely need a striker because they've effectively only really got Wayne Rooney. Hernandez, is he the no? So they'd be looking for a striker as well. So again, it would cost Arsenal a lot of money to get a player who, as I said yesterday, be 29 in February of next year. So it's not easy out there. It's not easy. Big targets out there for the first time in a long time for Arsenal that are gettable because we've got the money to do it. But can you move them away from those clubs? That is the question, and that is what was going to be revealed within the next couple of weeks. One player who is moving away from the club is Wellington Silva. He's signed for Bolton Wanderers. You can see him signing there on a season-long loan deal. I've never seen this guy play. He's an Arsenal player. He's been at Arsenal since 2011. I've never seen the guy play. He's always been out on loan over in Spain and that. He's had all these visa issues, etc. But I think that's a good move for him. Going down to Bolton, of course, remember Jack Wilshere, Rio Miyachi as well. They both applied their trade down at Bolton and learned, and it's a good place to go in League One for him. You know, he's been playing a lot over in Spain. Spanish football is very, very different to the Premier League in its physicality, and he'll learn a lot, I think, playing for a team like that down in Bolton, and especially coming up against some of the opposition he will do in League One. So I think that's a good low move for him. Hopefully we can, I can get to see what he's like, how he can get to come back. And some of the guys who are going out on loan at the moment doing really well. John Torrell again at the weekend scoring. So Akpom doing well at Hull. So let's hope he does well. And finally, Gideon Mller. Now, if you watch Arsenal, you watch the youth team, you know that this guy is one of the hottest prospects in the Arsenal youth setup. Ethiopian, born to Ethiopian parents. He can play for England, he can play for Germany, he can play for USA. He actually plays for the USA. I mean, I was watching a video yesterday of a goal he scored. Absolutely brilliant. He's a super duper creative player. He's even actually said that he'd like to become like a Zidane. That's the player he'd like to emulate, but he's got so much about him. I mean, I've seen him play a few times in the flesh. Very, very good player. Linked with a move to Glasgow Rangers. Again, this looks like a bit of a toughening up exercise, sending him up there to Scotland in the Scottish second division. But you know what? I think it would be a great move for him. One of the reasons why I also think it'd be a great move for him is the manager of Rangers, Mark Warburton, who, you know, plays football in the right way. I think it would be a great move for him. I think it would be, you know, it'd be a loan move, of course, and it'd be a great education for him to go up there to Scotland. And I think he'd get straight into that team and he'd be able to star. And I'll tell you, this guy, if we get it right with this kid, he can be a first-team player of the future on the same sort of level as players like Jack Wilshere. He is really, really got it. So let's wait and see what happens with that, because there's also quite a lot of championship clubs down here in the UK that are interested in him as well. But he was up in Glasgow yesterday having talks with Glasgow Rangers and their manager, Mark Warburton. So let's see what happens with that one. Right, let's get into your comments. First one comes here from 1XXICECATXX1. Why do people have? Can't you have a name? Right, this is what he says. He says, right, these are the top trenders if we can't get. This is what he said. He said, for him, we should go for Royce, Lewandowski, or Green. None of those are available. Probably the only one you could probably get out of those three would be Lukaku with a crazy bid. Midfielder, Krichak and Goetze. Krichak probably available. Goetze available. We need Goetze. I'd like to see. Defender, Mats Hummels, or someone with young potential. The French label. Hummels are moving from Dortmund. As I said, Dortmund very. I think Dortmund some selling. They hold on to their players. It's to Bayern. We know this before. Yes, that was big on Bayern got over the line. Yeah, Lewandowski, his contract ran out, so he was able to go. But everybody able to hold on to them, to hold on to Hummels, hold on to Royce, hold on to Aubameyang, hold on. They're not an easy club to get players off. Arsenal don't need forwards to say, because they have Giroud and Sanchez. But in the following season, if they want to win the title, we want to win it this season, by the way, they should buy Royce, Krichak, Gundogan, and Hummels for £100 million. Mr. T144 says, why would Benzema come to Arsenal? He's got Bugatti in Madrid and plays for the best club in the world. Even just need it. Literally type in anything to Google with BS media on it. Advertising Messi being linked to Arsenal, Ibra, etc., etc. There is no doubt there's a lot of rumours out there that are BS. So I'm not going to lie to you, he's spot that. However, Arsenal have definitely been trying to get Karim Benzema. The fact that Benzema, if the transfer window finishes and Arsenal don't get Benzema, doesn't mean that they haven't been trying to get Benzema. I disagree with him there. There's been stories that have been made up around it to probably sensationalize it, but there is no doubt in my mind and in most experts' minds that Arsenal have been trying all summer to try and get Karim Benzema. Whether they'll be successful or not, in the next couple of weeks we'll find out, but they've been trying. And as I said right at the top of the show, really interesting that they was moving for Muller and there's moving for Lewandowski. They have been moving for big names, but can you get them over the line? That is the problem. Denzel Botte says, it's clearly not pronounced Krichak. This is what he's saying to me. It's Krychowiak. Krychowiak is how it's pronounced. All right, I'll try and get that right. Technoc V2 says Griezmann is available. Chelsea are bidding. He's the closest we're ever going to get to a Aguero-type player. 35 million will easily get him. Well, actually, no, it won't, because Atletico Madrid have been saying that they've got now some sort of new buyout clause that it would have to be about over 60 million. Griezmann is not worth that. He's a very, very good player, not worth 60 mil. If Griezmann is worth 60 mil, then Alexis Sanchez, who I consider a better player, is worth about 80 then. I mean, come on. These players are not as easy to get as you think. It really is hard to get some of these players over the line. Lee Mercat, not very happy with Arsene Wenger. He says, same season after season with Arsenal. Wenger is the biggest problem at the club. He's hopeless at getting players in. Failed last season when everyone knew we needed 3 players and we were 3 players short. Going to fail again because he won't get a DM or a striker in. Can't wait for Wenger to go. Yes, he's been one of our greatest ever managers, but we need to someone to come in with fresh ideas. Wenger is too predictable and too stubborn. Okay. Ooh. Road Cop says Benzema was never leaving. Never. It was a delusion of the highest order to think that we could get him. Wenger once again, a day late and a dollar short. Ooh, I'll tell you, laying into Wenger. That's the thing, is where I think as well, that is one of the reasons why managers try not to make public when they're going after a player, because if you can't get it over the line, you know, because when you say we're going to move and try and get Benzema, fans don't understand sometimes that all the negotiation and all the things around it that it's going to take to get it over the line. They're just like, right, go out there, give him the money, let's get him. It don't work like that. It's not as easy as that. Hence why a lot of managers try and keep it really quiet, play it really down, because they know there's a big risk that it won't happen. It can be 50-50. It can be even less sometimes. It really isn't as straightforward as we all think it is. Last one here, Ibrahim Ezet says, what happened to the Thierry Henry video? On a different subject. A lot of people have been asking me about that Thierry Henry video, and well, what can I say? We filmed a video about 3 weeks ago. Mad excited to get the video out, particularly some of the things that Henry said in the video about him watching Arsenal Fan TV, the fans. It's brilliant. However, there's been some little rights issues around that video. As you know, Thierry Henry has signed a mega deal with certain media outlets, and there's some rights issues surrounding it, and that's why we haven't been able to release that video yet. We're still working on it to try and see if we can get it sorted, that we can get it out, and as soon as we get it sorted, it will be out, hopefully, fingers crossed. But unfortunately, we haven't been able to just put it out like we can put out the rest of our videos because of certain issues around it, not to do with Thierry Henry, not to do with us, to do with lots. I can't even get into it, but it's a big media corporate stuff, right? So we're trying to get it sorted. If we get it sorted, it'll be out straight away. Thanks for watching AFTV Transfer Daily today. Actually, on that, hopefully today we should be getting an interview with Paul Merson. So I'd be really interested to find out what that Arsenal legend has thought so far of our transfer dealings. We know he can be a bit controversial sometimes in some of the things he says. So look out for that interview coming up in the next couple of days. We'll be back tomorrow, around about the same time.